Hey everyone, I'm back, and yes, I look like a soccer player now. So we're gonna be doing some product research today, and I'm gonna be giving you my 2025 formula for Amazon FBA success. Sounds good? Be sure to like and subscribe down below. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I'm here in Jungle Scout. Haven't used this in a long time, but lately I've been doing some product research in here again, and I don't know why I ever left, because it's pretty awesome. So we've come into product research, product database, and then collapse navigation. So the essence of what we're trying to do is find a low quality market that has high sales so that we can just make an increased value product that meets the needs of the customers at the same price as the top selling competitor. And then we're going to streamline right into getting quotes and look at this just like it is a business, and look at it as lining up investment opportunities, right? Anything that we're trying to achieve here is simple as I want to turn this amount of money into this amount of money. And so we can just go through markets and come up with essentially confidence scores for if I invested 5 or 10 grand into this market, or even 2 or 4 grand into this market, what do I think would happen in the next 6 months? And so with that being said, let's get into some of how that starts. First, it's just categories. You could do one at a time. You could do many at a time. I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to go ahead and select standard size products that are sold by FBA. It's just product database. Okay, we're not even in Opportunity Finder yet. We want to do bad marketing as a preset, essentially. And then we're going to go, this basically means the competitors, like they might not have very many images, they might not have enhanced brand content, all the elements on the listing, the creative elements that drive our conversion rate up, they're missing. And so they're just selling something that people fundamentally need. They're purchasing it. We might see some commodity products through here, but that's actually okay. So price, we're going to go 27 to 46, like that price range, because under that, it's going to get hard to be profitable. It just straight up, right? Because Amazon, we have to look at this more. My buddy Mitchell once said this. I love this line. It's more of a retail partnership than it should be looked at more like a retail partnership, just like, hey, I'm partnering with Target or Best Buy to get in stores and get on their shelves, right? Then it should be looked at as a e-commerce direct to consumer through our own website or our own sales channel sort of thing, because we're paying 15% of all sales straight up just across the board to Amazon right off the bat, excluding fulfillment. And then we have to fulfill each product. And so at the end of the day, by the time that we get paid, it's usually just straight up 50-50 to Amazon and to you. And so we have to start with like, okay, well, I also have a cost of goods sold. And so let me just factor in, if I spend $5 or $6 on a unit from a manufacturer, and then I spend another, let's call it 15 to Amazon, then 7 left over. Okay, cool. We've got like 25+% net margins. It doesn't really make sense to do anything less than that. And so let's just start there. Kind of a long-winded review, but as we go through these, I think there can only be value in how I see these things now. After selling on Amazon for, this is going to be my 7th year. And so reviews, I'm going to go into 1,500. Quite high, but don't be too intimidated here. When we start seeing 15,000 reviews, you might need to be a little bit more of a skilled seller. You might have to have an attack plan. There might have to be a really big hole in that market. My main competitor has over 16,000 reviews, and I do very good in that market, so it's definitely possible. It's not like it's impossible, but as a complete beginner seller, we kind of want some low-hanging fruit. So I feel you if that's where you are, and I know a large part of my audience is. So net revenue, we're gonna go minimum 15,000. I remember back when I started first doing product research, people were setting that as like the maximum value. And now I don't see a point in selling anything in which, let's just assume we're going to be able to make 25% net margin. okay? Because realistically, I have a made in the USA brand. A lot of things work in my favor. Domestic sourcing, my shipping costs not too high, really good cost of goods sold, really good ACOS, really good tacos. Tacos like 15% across the board. It's a bad time of year for me because I have a spring through fall seasonal product, meaning sales drop by 30 to 40% in the winter months, which we are currently in. And I've got a 25% net margin, meaning if I do 50K in sales this month, then I'm going to do 12.5 grand in profit. So 15K, right? If you're doing 15K and you had a 25% net margin, and let's do some math. Come on, it's not 5 grand. It's like 39, 4 grand, something like that, right? And so then we start getting into a zone where it's like, okay, it's like a small job right there, right? And when I look at this, I look at it as it's just as hard to launch a new product that's small, sub 15K on the average revenue, as it is to launch one that's above that. Like you're still doing R&D, you're still contacting manufacturers, you're still prototyping, you're still sampling, you're still testing, you're still doing creative, you're still buying FN SKUs, you're still making a shipment. You're like, everything's still the same. So just aim a little higher, right? And I'll go 90K on the top end. Cool. Star rating, we don't necessarily have to put that in. Units sold, we don't really have to put that in. And, oh, sorry. I did net revenue. I'm actually just going to change that over really quick and go move it down to the revenue spot. Okay, cool. And so this is just, now we've got 204 results. So I like to usually just do the little double click zoom in kind of thing so I could scroll through here and actually see them. So totally commodity, single products right here, right? So if I see pumice, perlite, perlite again, those are going to be things where already I don't have to click on them, because if I know if someone's selling 25 quarts of something and it's just a single ingredient, what the customer cares about is price for quantity. Okay, so it's more for less market. And so I know there's nothing I could even do to raise my value there other than play that game. And that game is one in sourcing and in quantity and in being established in that market and being able to order a lot of volume and getting your cost of goods sold to be the lowest. It's not the game we're trying to play. So let's keep going. What is this? Palm tree fertilizer. Okay, if you find something interesting, you could add it to your product tracker, or we could just open this guy in a new tab. And so I'll zoom back out here and do view on Amazon, command click. Maybe we'll just scroll like this. Make it a little bigger for everyone. You know what I'm realizing is, well, that's messed up. Bear with me. Now we're talking. There we go. Okay, cool. And so we'll keep going through here. We've got one already. Now, all I'm doing is kind of using intuition to open product ideas. Like this is just something that you just, as you see things, you can open more in the beginning, and as we go through the checklist, you'll be able to see why I like and don't like certain things. If there's one rule of thumb, typically, it's anything that looks really difficult to manufacture tends to come out. So if there are things that look very large and bulky and look like they're machined and made out of metal, this is a pretty good example of that actually. That's going to be pretty tough to change anything with. So we're going to be stuck selling the exact same thing as the main competitor. And versus, if I see something like this actually, well, I could actually change that recipe. I can change that formula pretty easily, right? Those contract manufacturers are going to be able to change this stuff for me. Cockroach gel, right? I can change what the formula actually is relatively easy. Now, in something like that, you're actually going to need probably an EPA registry or approval. And so that's going to end up being expensive. You're probably looking at 15 grand to get in the door before you have a cost of goods sold or anything like that. Same thing goes for anything that is going to be ingested, or like a lot of these fertilizers are actually that way. And so keep that in mind. And if you're not sure, just look it up. Can I sell this on Amazon, on Google? Usually will get you pretty far. So what was that one? My Mycorrhizae. Okay, we'll open that up. And you could keep going through here. This is my workflow. I go ahead and open up everything at once, and then I analyze everything at once. Blazing hot blend. Okay, We'll open that up. Cool. This stuff looks complicated to manufacture. Not really trying to make anything like that. Now we're gonna go check these out one by one. And the way we're gonna actually do that is trying to figure out right off the bat what these competitors are ranking for. And so this is a product that sells well. We know that it sells well. And so all I have to do is I'm actually going to switch over to Helium 10 now. Let me just log in really quick. And I was wondering where all that stuff went. Here we go. This bar is super cool. It's going to show me the revenue for this listing right away. I'm never left guessing. And then also the top keywords. It just gives it to me. So we know they're doing 40K in revenue. Fantastic. And we know that they rank for, I saw Palm Tree Fertilizer is their top one with 1,800 search volume and $1.32 cost per click. So now I can open that in a new tab, and that basically brings me to what the customer would see after they searched that product name. Now all that I'm looking for here is, this is simple and kind of backwards to a lot of people. A lot of people start talking about differentiation right away. What I've seen and what me and my students have been working on is going straight to getting a quote at this point. Once we're convinced that there's enough traffic to get in front of, there is competitors that perform well, aka over 5 figures per month, about 5 competitors doing that, and then a price over $30. Pretty much once you get to that point, search volume, lower cost per click, a lot of sales, looks good. You can now go start reaching out to manufacturers, because think about the workflow from here on out. We can research the heck out of the customer. We can spend a week drafting up a customer avatar from all the reviews that we've read, and we could look into how this product is made and how to improve it and what's missing, and go read all the blog posts and all the things that we eventually will do anyway. And then maybe a couple of weeks goes by, maybe a month goes by, we're coming up with what we want the packaging design to look like, and we don't even have a quote for the product yet. So what if instead we flip those two in order, and we just started, like we said in the beginning of the video, looking at each product as an investment. And so what I can do is I'm going to say, I'm not going to change anything. If I had to sell a 7-pound bucket of palm tree fertilizer in this market, what would that cost me to source? That's all I'm curious about. Just going head to head with the current highest price bestseller. What would I get? And so what I might do is I might go on to thomasnet.com. I might do Google searches for fertilizer, and then after it, contract manufacturer or co-packer, and then start reaching out. Hey, I'm US entrepreneur looking to start a brand in this space. We're currently trying to find quotes and trying to find manufacturers that could help us make this. What would you assume your best price for 7 pounds of this fertilizer would be in a sealed 5-gallon bucket or something? Okay, and then they're going to give you a quote. So let's just say this is kind of industry average stuff here. Let's say that that's what it was. Hey, it's Paul, nice to meet you. It's going to be about $9. Okay, cool. So as long as what I see in here, and I add other costs, I look at that $1.32 cost per click, and I know that, okay, times 10, give or take, about a 10%. If we were going to take all of Amazon, about a 10% conversion rate. So I'd have to spend about $13 in ads to get a sale. So I add that in the other costs. Okay, we saw that when we opened up Helium 10, saw the keyword in the cost per click early on. Little thing, I don't know if you caught it, but I did say it. We still have money on the table after even acquiring a customer. So as long as that's true, as long as I can get this product for $9 and I do convert a customer for that, well then even my ad sales, so even the sales that I'm making to scale the brand are, with no organic sales, are profitable. That's a great place to start. And so this quick math, by the way, if we're going to give you the exact order, right? I said I was going to give you my blueprint for Amazon selling success. It would be like, open up niche products where there's bad marketing And this is a good example of that. We don't even have to go over that. You can just look at this listing. Most of us are intuitive enough. We've bought enough products that we know nowadays what a bad product kind of looks like. That's pretty much it, right? And then so compare that to some of your favorite brands and their packaging. Simple enough. And you can do that in any market. Doesn't matter how boring the market is. You can always have fantastic packaging, product marketing. And even if you don't change much about the product, but you market it in a significantly better way, it will have an effect on your conversion rate. And so if I'm going to be profitable doing that, which I just rough estimate with the profitability calculator, then I confirm that I can sell the same exact thing as them with a manufacturer. Okay, now I've got a manufacturer in line. I'm projected to do, say I do half as many sales as them for the first 6 months, and then I overtake them. We can actually just project out what that math would look like. Okay, so here's how much money I'm going to invest into this thing. Here's what it's looking like my profit margin is going to be. Here's what's going to happen if I'm off by a factor of a certain percentage on either end, like your risk factor, literally, just like put a buffer zone in there. Here's what happens if I'm wrong. Here's what happens if it go better than I expected. And there's your investment opportunity, right? Go watch an episode of Shark Tank, and they're basically just gonna be asking about numbers, be asking about how you're acquiring customers, and asking about how much customers are gonna be worth to you. We could do a great deal of that just with the tools we have available to us as Amazon sellers. And so I would go do that same thing. I go look through here, and then tomorrow, just start doing this stuff. Just go look for manufacturers for those, get out some emails, send out a couple quick templates, and see if anyone gets back to me with a price. And I'm talking domestic, by the way. My brand is made in the USA. So I'm not even talking about Alibaba. I'm just saying, like, literally, is there anyone in the States that can do this for me? You'd be surprised how easy it is to start a business and get yourself going. So that's my 2 cents on finding a product nowadays, doing some product research, and the workflow that might come before, during, and after it that I'm going to be using to actually push things along. Once you have a big list of quotes and you have investment opportunities outlined and what you think you're going to be doing in that market, and how the customers and are finding that product, where the traffic's coming from, do a little deep dive into what the big influencers in that space are posting about, and what that collective external traffic pool might look like. It's really not that hard, right? And if you need any help, you can always reach out to me on Patreon or on my website or something, or just leave a comment here on the videos. I'll be more than happy to help. But hopefully you're all doing super well. Thanks for hanging out with me here today, and I'll see you in my next video. Later.